What's up, Zox fam? So we have a lot to get into with Godforge. With the alpha actually happening tomorrow, Simon actually gave us a heads up on some of the things that we can expect to see, some of the changes that they've implemented from the very first wave, which was their friends and family alpha wave, into now the a little bit more broader alpha wave, which is this alpha 1 that we're going into tomorrow. So starting out and jumping right into it, some of the things that they've added were things like pop-ups so that you could have certain indicators on what things are, to have a clear idea on how exactly you can build things, right? So they have, like, for example, the classic affinity tree that they actually have added for people to be able to indicate what exactly the relationship or interaction is. Also classification to tell you what type of unit a unit is, like, so if it's an invoker, if it's a DPS, etc. And then of course the faction that they come from, because that is a big aspect of this game. Pop-ups on the stat lines as well. Now another thing that they've also simplified, and this is something I actually really like, is under the promote system. What they actually have here is they have basically different classifications, like in some of your more traditional turn-based games where you have common, uncommon, rare, epic, and then legendary, right? So what they basically did, obviously there's EXP that's required to level characters, but they've made a system where everything is all in one interface, so you don't have to go through multiple interfaces to try to do one thing. Everything here is basically on this kind of like bar that you can kind of drag, and the cool thing is that they made it to where it says 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, they've since enhanced the values of the types of units. So you're able to get something called souls, which you actually can see him scroll by those. Let me see if it actually goes back to him. But you actually will see there's souls that you can actually use right here. And there'll be different rarities of these that you can actually utilize to take up your character's values, right? So if you're coming from a theory of restart, it's very similar to what we have with the blueprints, right? Or shadow prints. And so with that, what they've also done is they said, you know what, if a unit is, say, a common unit, that'll be also utilized as food potentially for you to be able to take that character up to the next rarity, right? Like that. If they're for 3-star, you can use your uncommon champions to take them up. 4-star, you can use rare. 5-star, you can use epic champions, like his words, if you're crazy enough to do that. And then even crazier, you can actually use 5-star champions if you want to actually take up your character to 6-star, and then the corresponding XP, right? Now again, this is something that all within this one screen, you have that one pop-up, it lets you pick the stuff, it goes right back to the interface that was on before, and of course it locks out all the things that are much rare, so you can make a decision on whether or not you want to do that. So that's actually something that is a really neat feature that they seem to have added, which I think is really cool. Of course, one thing they definitely wanted to point out too was that in order for you to get the passive, which we'll actually see these things in game, but I just want to have this, like I said, out for those that are playing themselves and just kind of traversing and might have a couple of questions or some things. In order for you to see the passive on characters, you have to get them to Ascension 3. Okay, Ascension 3 is where that's at. They have placeholder stuff in right now, but we should be seeing some stuff on that once they go into prepping for the official release and getting all the things feedback wise implemented and changed, bug wise, all that stuff, right? So that's just to kind of simplify that. Of course, you can upgrade abilities and stuff like that, see all your abilities, which the character's abilities are actually pretty unique too. So it's pretty cool to see the variations. And that's really what I think they're looking for in this specific alpha, is to see how players kind of feel about the different skills, scaling, stuff like that. So it's really cool. They also do have an imprinting system or awakening system as well. So that's something else that you're going to also be able to have, which I actually find to be a nice QOL, is you can either sacrifice an imprint. So there's going to be a general resource that you can use for this system, or you can then use a duplicate hero. And that's something that I feel a game has to kind of have in this day and age, is is alternatives, because there's no guarantee that you're going to constantly get that same unit, especially the bigger the roster of a game. And the bigger the roster gets, there's nothing that really ensures or guarantees that. And when we look at some other games, that's like some of the like inherent issues that they'll have, is that like it's like requiring the direct character. There's no substitute resource, and accessibility to that resource is usually pretty scarce. So really, really cool to see that as well. I think some other things, of course, that they went through in this was also like the weapons. There are weapons that actually that actually give like very specific abilities and things of that nature. You can like further enhance them, increasing their star rarity, and they'll also be worked in conjunction to your set bonus. So you still have your traditional gear where you can, you know, equip gear that gives like you know, like defense bonus, right? Like and what's really cool is that like one thing that I do like that they seem to kind of be playing off of, which is the types of like buffs and debuffs that have different variations. So like there's like the small, medium, and big versions of buffs, which I think is really cool, because that kind of, and I mean, that kind of exists in a lot of games where it just kind of gives different values according to what a unit's doing. Maybe might give a lower rarity, higher value because they have a bigger version of something, or a medium version of a certain buff. And what I'm referring to, if you're not familiar with that, is like a percentage difference, right? So that's something that also does exist. Now, as far as the game modes in terms of like resources and stuff like that, they've made it really clear that each stage will clearly indicate what type of resource drops will be there, whether it'll be like the souls, whether it'll be equipment, whether it'll be units. And then you'll also be able to see here clearly indicated under the stars what and let me actually move my giant body so you guys can see this. But as you can see here, like I said, what's going to be indicated is like the chest here. You also have under each star a reward based off of each thing. So like the first star is for defeating the stage, but the second one is going to be like doing something specific, right? And so that's something that they're allowing, you know, to kind of be the basis of like some of the challenge rewards that you get. But then there's also the drop rewards on the dungeons itself, or in this cavern style alpha, right? So the other thing is too, is that with combat, they did talk about the different camera angles, which I think is like pretty cool too. Considering that I don't know how many games I've played that have multiple camera angles, this might actually be one of the first turn-based that's like, hey, like we're going to give you like 50 different camera angles. But like this one, I think, is one of the angles right here, which is just kind of like that up close and personal, just that singular character versus everything else. And it like alternates when each character gets their turn. You do have the perspective here, which is what they're calling the, I think it was like the 75% or 3/4 ratio or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's basically allowing you to be able to kind of have more of a sky view, and you can kind of see from a side kind of like cut angle your entire party. And then you have more the traditional angle here, which is from the top, which is a little bit more similar to what we have in Etheria Restart. So that was something that was like a big thing that a lot of players were asking for in the game. And I would say that this is like one of the like points that I can make, right? It's like, as far as like this team taking the time to look at little things, right? Little QOL things to give players, just for a simple nuance of like, I want to be able to visually look at the game this way. They have supplied that to players within reason, right? Like, I think that this was something they felt was doable, so they did it. Of course, you have like your auto battle, you have your 2 times they plan on doing. And I know Simon like pulled up a chart as well, which showcases some of the things that they are planning on doing. They, for example, are going to be improving like the tutorial, extended tutorial systems, etc. Like, there's a lot of things that they don't have in there yet, but it is an alpha. I want to be very clear on that. It is an alpha. They're going to have full breakdowns on gear sets in the game and stuff like that being added. They're going to have 3.5 times in adjustments to 1 times and 2 times speeds. There will be damage text and visual overhaul. So there's going to be a lot of things that we'll see that for sure will more than likely need work, but they already are aware of some of these things. And what they're really looking for from us is extra feedback on interactions. Like, if a unit goes into battle and it does something, there's going to be a system set in the Discord for us to be able to report tickets. He does kind of go through that a little bit as well, which is like also really, really important. They're going to have an entire bug, like, report window where we'll be able to see not only bugs that were reported, but we'll also then be able to report our own bugs that we're experiencing and seeing based off of the device that we're playing on, which they'll have Windows, mobile accessible, which I think already is a huge W for, again, a team that's making their very, very first game. And then from there, I think that's kind of sort of like everything for the alpha for this first wave. The main thing is that like they basically, and this is another feature I actually really like, and it's kind of weird because we don't have it in Ethereum right now, and it's like we should, but like here is like kind of like the load and battle screen. Like before you go into fights, you can kind of like set your team here. You actually, like, if somebody's not geared, you can go from this screen back into your build, change your build, and then go back here like instantly, and then immediately go into the fight. Like it's just like little things like that are like little like our systems that like really matter. So I think one of the things, like, and again, to address some of the things that some players were asking about on the last video, visuals, right? They've already stated that visuals were going to be enhanced. Again, it's an alpha, so do take this as a grain of salt of what the product is going to look like, just because, again, in any alpha, it's usually like the probably like more closer to the like most unrendered version of the game, and definitely not shader, definitely not finalized in any regard. Even just down to like unit animations and stuff like that, things just need to be polished. And I even kindly remind people about Ethereum Restart. Like when I was first putting out videos on Ethereum Restart, everyone was looking at it like, this game doesn't look that great, and now people love it, right? Like, and of course, like, I think, like, it just kind of comes with the territory when you're making a brand new game. You're gonna have people saying things, just raid clone or whatever. They did that with Ethereum Restart, HSR clone. But at the end of the day, if you are enjoying it, if you play this alpha and you have fun and you like, what I would truly say, guys, right? And this is like my biggest piece of advice that I can give you guys, right? Make sure you come over here and you check out the Fateless channel. Like, let's actually take the time to do this really quick. I'm probably going to do this the one time, but shamelessly plugging in them, right? Like, this is definitely something that I really will say is a big thing to make sure you go and check out, because dude, they have some of everything here. Any question, any concern, any topic of conversation, they have taken the time to not only talk to the investors, but other content creators, people developing the game. This is like the best source of information on what this game really is, what they're planning on doing, how they're doing it, because this game is far from a raid clone, just in the sense of like how they're going to be running the game, how they plan on doing things, how they've been doing things. See, I even got a video here. So I actually did a podcast with them not too long ago where I was able to actually talk to not only Hell Hades, but Sham and also Chosen. So it was such a great opportunity to actually learn more about them, giving my input and feedback on what it is that, they're bringing to the game. And it's just really cool to be a part of this entire thing. And there's so many other great people. Susie, like, again, shout out to her. She's a CM. She's been doing so much work and just making things happen. There's so many other great individuals that's really working on this. Shout out to the homie JK. Like, Brandon, man. Yeah, dude. Like, they got so many people on here. So I would highly recommend, if you want to play a game that really is being community driven and really like is really putting the community at the forefront. Like, when was the last time you seen any game that we've played have that many people, right? This is all different variations and faces from different spaces and places, showcasing and asking us how we feel about the game, how we feel about their product, and then going and implementing those things based off of how people feel, right? So I would say, for what it's worth, I think it's worth giving it a shot personally. So yeah, that's just my whole spiel and take on that. I just wanted to make sure I threw that in because, again, I know you guys, everybody's super opinionated when we're talking about the internet, but I also think that, like, for those of you guys that's truly interested, take the time to actually do your own research and really see what this game has to offer, what they're planning, and join their Discord, man. I have everything linked down below, but we will be live streaming tomorrow. Everything. We're going to be getting into it. We're going to be, giving giving honest feedback and reporting bugs, doing what we did on Ethereum Restart. You guys have to remember, I'm the creator on Ethereum Restart amongst two, which was me and Scion, that over the last course of 3, almost 4 years, I did nothing but beta test that game, right? This game, right? Ethereum Restart. And I did the same thing with Dislike. I beta tested that for 2 years before it released. I did localization for Sword of Convallaria. There's so many different things I've done that you guys don't even realize, but this is just what I love to do. And again, this is the first project we have where it is literally creators and community members coming together to make a great project. So yeah, guys, I mean, like I said, it's going to be sick. I think some of the systems that they're adding and that the things that they, kind of are making us aware of, they're letting us know like, hey, not everything is perfect. But that's the transparency I'm looking for from a developer is we need to have videos, and the way that they're actually treating this, if we're being real, is they're treating this kind of sort of like how they treat AAA games. Like when I play games like Path of Exile, when I play games like, I'm trying to think of like, what else is kind of like that? Why is it like Diablo? Like when you think about those types of games, there constantly are these types of videos. They're just making it more often. Like these videos happen regularly, by the way, but there's videos literally keeping you up to date on every single thing that is happening. Like it doesn't care. They don't care what the detail is. They're letting you know. And so I would highly recommend, guys, share this with your friends, share this with other gacha gaming communities. Again, if it's not your taste, that's okay. Share it with somebody else because it might be, right? It might be theirs. But yeah, guys, that's going to be that. We're going to be streaming on twitch.tv/ZoxysCon and, of course, here on the YouTube channel, where this is going to also be the home of one of the very first games Fateless is bringing, Godforge, right? So that's going to be that with this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm going to also let this trailer play at the end, so do enjoy that. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys later.
I remember the world before. Arrogant gods ruled from on high, while weak men groveled and appeased them. It was the way of things. Then the world shattered, and everything changed. A new world arose, filled with even stranger gods and monsters, sorcerers and kings. Now, all vying for power and supremacy over reborn stars and resurrected Earth. Fighting over the treasures of a hellish beast unleashed from the abyss. I was chosen to witness these events. Just bloody lucky, I guess. I was told the awakening is nigh. Balance will be restored. But blood and fire are all I see. Screams are all I hear. And the stench of death lingers. If you ask me, this new world is far, far worse than the last. And it will take more than gods or men to set things right.